Albert Einstein once said, "Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one." But what if I told you that your brain is shaping that illusion every second? Imagine a scenario where two different people are stuck in traffic. One is frustrated, holding on to the wheel, thinking, "Why does this always happen to me?" Now, at the same time, the other person looks at the delay in a unique way, a chance to enjoy their favorite podcast. Same situation, completely different experiences. Why? There is just one simple answer to this. It's their way of looking. Or, in simpler words, it's their perspective. Today, I want to help you understand how our perspective shapes our reality. This is not just a concept, it's also a scientific study. By looking at research from neuroscience and psychology, we will show you how our minds create the world we see. Changing our viewpoints can lead to personal growth, empathy, and even social change. Let's begin with an interesting fact. Your brain does not perceive reality exactly how it is. Instead, it interprets your different experiences. Every single moment in your life, your brain receives an intense quantity of different information around you. Colors, sounds, and sensations. Your brain doesn't show all this to you. Instead, it filters everything around you based on your previous experiences. Let's take optical illusions into consideration, like that dress that some people see as black and blue, while others see it as white and gold. This is an example of your brain interpreting sensory information in distinguishable ways. According to neuroscience, this filtering process, guided by the prefrontal cortex, which assigns meaning to what you see, hear, and feel, explains why two different people can have vastly different interpretations of the same event. Like in a noisy environment, a person might enjoy a band, while another person might find a barking dog disruptive. When we understand that our brains are made to be subjective, we gain an important skill: the ability to question our initial thoughts and look at different viewpoints. What if I told you that your mind doesn't just filter reality? It actively shapes how you perceive everyone around you. Enter the default mode network. Our brain has a specific area that is known as the default mode network, or DMN. This is the network that is actually in operation when your mind is in an idle mode. That is, during moments of introspection, daydreaming, or understanding what another person could be thinking. It plays an important role in shaping your personality and understanding others' perspective. At times, when we are quarreling with someone we don't know, we say afterwards, "Perhaps they were having a bad day." Then, it is easier to see things in a better way. The DMN facilitates us in seeing the event from the other person's perspective. The talent is needed to develop empathy, make connections, and encourage outside the box thinking. However, it is important to remember that our minds are not always trustworthy. Occasionally, they can convince us of things that are not entirely true. This leads us to our first concept: cognitive biases. For example, confirmation biases has us in search of data that is quite like our last set of thoughts. Egocentric biases has us believing that our opinion is greater than the other person's opinion. They prevent us from noticing the broader picture. Luckily, our brains also have something called mirror neurons, which are great mechanisms for showcasing empathy. These cells in the premotor cortex fire when we observe another person's feelings or actions, so we can sympathize with them. Have you ever found yourself sobbing while watching a movie and not knowing why? That's okay. This is what your mirror neurons are doing. To overcome prejudices and become empathetic, we need to reach out to other individuals and open our eyes. The good news is that we do not always have to remain trapped by these biases forever. Our brains change, which brings us to our next concept, neuroplasticity. This is the place where the most exciting things turn up. The brain's mobility to adjust, known as neuroplasticity, is a code word for the fact that we are highly variable. By focusing our minds on deliberate practice, we can transfer our cognitive process and effective responses. Becoming a mindfulness practitioner, having a gratitude journal, and if you have time, visiting new places will all lead to a powerful shift in the way we see ourselves. One of the easiest yet most powerful methods is reframing. Instead of being preoccupied by the thought, I have failed this, try to question yourself. How can I extract some wisdom out of this situation? It has been proved with research that writing a gratitude journal can activate the anterior cingulate cortex in the brain, which is in charge of emotional regulation and variability in the perspective. We can transform our point of view, thus making events different to us. And here lies the wonder. Changing our viewpoints not only aids us, it also influences those in our vicinity. By tackling situations with compassion, we diminish disputes and foster connections. When we perceive obstacles from a different angle, we discover creative answers. Social movements and revolutionary concepts frequently arise from individuals brave enough to reconsider traditional issues innovatively. So, here's what I want to share with you. Even though our brains are unique in interpreting information, empathy, and neuroplasticity and reframing can deliberately allow us to view this world from another angle. Anytime you are dealing with a problem or discussion, please stop for a minute and think. Could I see other perspectives? What might I learn from this? Every so often, the minor change we make to it reflects huge transformation in life for us to experience it. So, what world will you choose to see? Thank you.